We're back on the SportsMax Zone. Teams have started to trickle into Orlando and get accustomed to their temporary home inside a bubble at the Walt Disney World ESPN complex ahead of the league restart of the NBA on the 30th of July. Already 2 players have violated rules inside the bubble: Sacramento Kings center Richaun Holmes and Houston Rockets forward Bruno Caboclo. Now, Holmes reportedly left the bubble to pick up food, while Caboclo, the incident has not been made public. Both players have been quarantined. Holmes' mother took to social media and gave him this warning.
You only crossed the line for your mama's cooking, and I was not in Florida, so love you, baby.
No, the NBA Commissioner Adam Silver and his team have created what has been dubbed a snitch hotline, a portal where players can anonymously report those of their colleagues who break the bubble rules. Word from Orlando is that the hotline is blowing up, and among those reported to be most active in ratting out their colleagues, OKC Thunder guard Chris Paul. Paul is also president of the NBA Players Association. Social media let him know what it thought of his alleged actions.
So we have, Buena Vista Drive, walked across the road and everything. Chris Paul has like 3 different phones for this, Duncan Smith. Chris Paul right now, this is how I win. And he's smiling very. CP3 watching players take an extra juice box during lunchtime. He can't hide. You see the picture, Lance? Play crazy and don't wear your mask around Chris Paul if you all want to. Frank says, Chris Paul in the bubble ratting out his friends. Let's look at the expression. Lou Williams says, and of course that's the emoji for a rat and some laughing faces.
Laughing, almost tears. Laughing so much that there are
You're
tears.
Crying, yeah.
There are tears there. All right, now the Instagram model Maya Anna has revealed that she has received invitations to the bubble. Under the rules, such a visit would be a violation. Anna has been accused by some of being a snitch. Has she?
Lance, do you think Chris Paul would really snitch on his friends? Like, you think I'm just asking, don't do your face like that. Do you think he's capable of doing that to his teammates is the question.
The evidence seems irrefutable. Yes.
For real?
Yes.
Okay, well, I mean, especially during a COVID-19 pandemic, I wouldn't expect that. But we see 2 players as well. They've broken the bubble, of course, during the NBA season. Not top-name players to say, but the fact that now they have to extend their quarantine period brings into question, how does this affect, one, their fitness, because it's COVID-19 and they would have been off the game for some time, and they'll just be missing valuable playing time. What's your take? You think it's irresponsible, or the fact that they said it was unintentional, though? The fact that they unintentionally breached the protocols. What do you think about it? Like,
I'm not sure how unintentional it could be because the rules are there.
And if you order food, aren't you going for the food?
What I know is that the bubble, based on all of the prerequisites, have to have a lot of discipline that's attached to it. And if the players and the coaches and the team staff, that they aren't disciplined and follow the rules, then the entire bubble could be compromised.
Right.
So I think everyone in the bubble has to behave responsibly, because the bubble is supposed to be a sterile environment, and any breach, no matter how minor it is, can compromise the bubble. And I think it's irresponsible of anyone who breaches the guidelines for the bubble, given all of what is at stake here. Adam Silver said 3 weeks ago that the NBA recognizes that the NBA can be called off if the COVID-19 spreads in this bubble, that he would be forced to and not have a choice to just scrap the NBA season. Adam Silver said that. So everyone in the bubble should recognize that this is serious. George? What's your view on this?
Look, I don't get where this thing about Chris Paul being a snitch is concerned. It's so artificial. The NBA has put in a line to say, look, if there are people going out of this bubble and potentially bringing back COVID-19, which could cause all of this to be blown off, as you just said, Lance, Tell us about it. What's snitching about that? It is one of the dumb things that my people who look like us, well, yeah, people who look like me and that's
George, good joke.
I'm shoving it, right? But it's just something that people like us have. It is just absolute nonsense. What is snitching about? It's a matter of life and death. COVID-19 is a matter of life and death. Or, I almost said worse, for some people, even after you recover from COVID-19, you are never the same again. And they have said, Mr. Chris Paul, you are a responsible adult in this bubble. For those of your colleagues who go out and potentially compromise the safety of everybody here, the livelihoods of everybody here, and the whole league season finishing, please tell us, if it is that Chris Paul is doing that, he should be given a medal for responsibility.
Yeah, but George, he is the president, isn't he, of the NBA Players Association? So he's trying to take the lead here, and he's doing what is right and what a leader should do.
Can I just jump in before you comment, George, and just say, but if he's the president of the NBA Players Association, shouldn't he be protecting the players? And when I say protecting, I mean keeping their secrets too.
No, but he's the greatest thing to do to protect the players is to ensure that no other player goes out and brings COVID-19 in for the larger group. And to the point Lance made about him being the NBA Players Association, it is precisely because he's the NBA PA, the president rather, NBAP. It is precisely because of this post why it is easy to point a finger at him to say he's the one, because they know he's the one who has to have the schoolmasterly approach to this thing. He's the one who has to ensure that players are kept in line. And so he's an even easy target, even if he is not the one. But if it is indeed Chris Paul, I would come out and say, I'm sorry, friendships are going to be broken because this is a matter of life and death. And if we can't responsibly stay in this bubble and ensure that we get this league season completed and that nobody brings COVID-19 into the bubble, you can hate me all you want. I am going to talk every day. Look no further for any snitch. I am the snitch. So, well, that there ended the reading of that holy verse. Thanks be to God.
So can I tell you all something? You know, I'm very uneasy as the NBA is about to start because one, James Harden came to Orlando 5 days after everybody else. So I don't know what's up with him. Russell Westbrook, now he contracted COVID-19. So I don't know how he will be when it comes to fitness-wise. What's happening with the Rockets? What are our chances looking like? I mean, what are my chances looking like?
Whether COVID of any kind, the Rockets run going to win the NBA. So I don't understand your anxiety, your anguish at this time based on Russell Westbrook's illness, which we wish him a full recovery from, and James Harden's lateness in entering the bubble. Mariah, nobody, if you added LeBron James to this Rockets team, they still would not have been a contender for the title. So I don't know. You should spare your emotion for something more worthwhile.
What, George, the Rockets with LeBron would be hopeless as well?
I don't know.
Absolutely hopeless. The Rockets are, look, O'Reilly Buchanan is the biggest LeBron.
LeBron is a game changer, George.
George, how's that isolation treating you?
LeBron didn't change the game for the Lakers last year, though, did he?
No, but the Lakers that LeBron joined last year is weaker than the Rockets if he were to join the Rockets now.
Lance,
yes.
You know very well, the NBA is about pieces. It's not about names. What the Rockets have are big names, Harden and Westbrook. LeBron joining would be another, would be the biggest name in the bunch. But that's not what LeBron knows it takes to win a team. It's pieces, the right players in the right positions. You're going to have 3 ball-dominant players in one team. The Rockets can hardly function with 2 ball-dominant players in one team, much less to go add another one to it. So it wouldn't work even with LeBron James there because the makeup of the roster is not good enough to win an NBA championship.
Yeah, I know you've described LeBron as a ball-dominant player, but isn't he a team man as well? And he would be able to
yes, Lance,
to get the kind of synergy in a Rocket setup that could make them potent.
LeBron is the most selfless player in the NBA, and that's why he's among,
which is where I'm going with the point, yes.
Which is why he's legitimately, arguably the greatest player of all time, the greatest man who's ever played in the NBA of all time, so I like to cast him. But in that situation, lads, there comes a time when your superstar needs to take over the game to blow the game wide open or to recover a deficit that you fall into. And there comes a time when your alpha male needs to do that. Who is going to be the alpha male in that team where there's only one model out on the court and there's R. Westbrook, Jay Harden, and L. James?
Ask Mariah. Ask Mariah who is the alpha male in the team.
Well, seeing that the ball is in my court now, I'm going to move this discussion away from the Rockets, seeing that George has nothing to say about good to say about my team, the Rockets, as well as James Harden. And I'm going to put the pressure on Kawhi Leonard because Kawhi is load management boss. And I feel like COVID-19 came at a time where he got to do some extra resting. So now, does this put him at an advantage because he got a free load management session?
Look, Kawhi will be fine. I see you firing shots at him, and yes, he's the load management boss. I like how you put that one. So you see, Mariah, you can make jokes. That was a good one. I can
Thank
give you
you.
that.
Good, and this was live.
Yeah? This was live. So yeah, Kawhi will be fine. The Clippers will be fine. The Lakers had a couple of players who went down with COVID-19. We don't know how well they will recover, although science has proven so far that that active people usually recover well from COVID-19. In fact, they usually recover better than other people, and elite athletes even more so. So one doesn't expect any major problems, but you never can tell. So the good thing is we are restarting the season with a healthy roster of players for the big dogs, those main contenders. And let me tell you, the climax of this NBA season is going to be even more compelling than it would have been under normal circumstances, where perhaps you would have gone into a playoff series with some key men nursing some injuries and trying to lug some wounded bodies around the court in the playoffs. So James Harden would have been refreshed from this, so I expect his performance to be better in these playoffs. Yes, still not going to help the Rockets, but to the point of Kawhi and the Clippers, they will be right as rain. And it's going to take a pretty smart team to deny them this NBA championship, although the Lakers believe that they are that team. LeBron believes he's that guy.
Do we expect LeBron to be rusty, especially because this is the longest he has been on a break during the season?
No, you would associate, well, to start with, everybody is coming from the same situation. Yeah. Everybody's in the same situation, right? But you asked a good question because you asked a good question to allow me to explain this. When you have the experience that LeBron James has, when you have a layoff, the rust that would be associated with a professional athlete at an earlier stage in their career would have been different from the same thing that you'd associated with a player as experienced as LeBron James. Is 15 seasons deep in the NBA. He knows his body. He knows how to prepare for a game. He knows how to prepare for a playoff series. He knows how to prepare for a sequence of games on the road. It will not bother him one bit, and he'll not be any more rusty than anybody else in the league is. In other words, he'll be equal to them, and if he's equal to them, you know that his superior quality will make him do things that are beyond the capacity of most of the rest of the league.
George, once the discussion about the NBA restarting, there was a bit of tug of war between whether they should go ahead and play, especially because of the Black Lives Matter movement. Now, to add insult to injury, or I mean, to make matters a bit worse, LeBron comes out and he says, I'm not wearing any social justice messages on the back of my t-shirt. Of course, Anthony Davis supports him. For me personally, I don't think wearing a message on a t-shirt does anything, right? It's about education and how long are you going to wear a message at the back of your t-shirt and hope that people become aware. Where do you stand where this is concerned?
I'm right with LeBron and AD. It is, at this point, it is beyond sloganeering and messaging.
Correct.
The days of that have long gone. For how many years, and I pivot to Lance for this point, Mariah, for how many years has Lance seen messages about equality and acceptance and the rejection of prejudice being promoted by athletes, being worn on the clothes of athletes? You see the footballers, Mariah, for years now with the anti-racism banners before football games. Then they run onto the pitch and players racially abuse other players, and fans in the stands racially abuse the same players on the stands minutes after they've held up the racism banners. And you wear the rainbow laces and you wear the clothing with the anti-racism messages. It is of zero value. LeBron James, as I said when I was on the set earlier this year, He has put his money where his mouth is. He has organized for people to educate black children, to educate children of all color, all races about the need for equality. He is doing something about this problem we have where racial prejudice and racial inequality is concerned. So for a man like that to choose not to wear a slogan on his shirt, I'm saying he's doing the right thing, and more should do by doing rather than do by saying and sloganeering.
Definitely, more action is definitely needed. So we take a short break, and of course, soon update number 2 comes up next.